今日咧係8月31號啦，下晝就12點鐘度，溫哥華手足喺度舉辦無望啦831，已經5年㗎啦。咁我哋係首先去聽下溫哥華手足係講啲乜嘢。
嗰條路仔俾其他一齊分享呢個公園嘅人，幫人哋快步啲。So thank you so much for everybody being here today for this August 31st Hong Kongers Memorial. It's a sad day for Hong Kongers. 5 years ago, we still remember we have protesters being attacked and being killed by the Hong Kong police in the Prince Edward Station. So we are not forgetting, and we are still missing all our protesters, all our buddies still in the jail because the Chinese Communist Party not giving them a fair trial. They've been locked in a jail for almost 5 years. So we're here today to remember this date, and we are continuing this fight. We are in Vancouver. We are using the freedom and freedom of speech, freedom of gathering, freedom of press in Vancouver. So before we start today's assembly, this gathering, I would like to do a land acknowledgement. So before we start, we would like to acknowledge that this land resides on the unceded, ancestral, and occupied traditional lands of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish nations of the Coast Salish peoples. This land acknowledgement not just letting us know that we are sharing this land with the Indigenous community here in Vancouver. It is also reminding us that our land has also been taken by the Chinese Communist Party. So thank you for this land. And now we will have our national song, O Canada, and we will also have our national song of Hong Kong, Glory to Hong Kong. So first I will play the O Canada. Please stand. Please remain standing. We'll have a national anthem for Hong Kong, Glory to Hong Kong. And please face our flags. Our flags for the democracy and liberation of Hong Kongers. We will have this flag raising during the national anthem play.
祈求民主與自由，萬歲都不留。我願榮光歸香港。光復香港！時代革命！光復香港！時代革命！香港獨立！唯一出路！香港獨立！唯一出路！消滅共產黨！Fight for freedom! Fight for freedom! Fight for freedom! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong! Free Hong Kong!
Okay, I will pass the time for today's function.
地下啲字啦，831打死人。
Today's rally is to remember the horrific events that happened on August 31st, 2019 at the Hong Kong Prince Edward MTR station. We would like to ask all of you to observe a minute of silence, not only for Hong Kong, but also for the recently deceased City University of Hong Kong Assistant Professor Danny Hin-Wai Lee, who sadly is the latest in a long line of martyrs who sacrificed themselves for the love of their homeland.
我哋開始之前，我哋想為831嘅受難者，同埋最近香港城大建築及土木工程師副教授李顯華，佢幾日前喺九龍地鐵站喺社交平台寫咗佢最後嘅遺言之後就自殺。佢嘅遺言係話2019年之後佢冇開心過。我哋而家1分鐘默哀。
We'll observe 1 minute of silence. Professor Lee left behind some last words on Chinese social media, where he voiced his continued despair about the situation in Hong Kong since the anti-extradition bill protest in 2019. The Hong Kong government is currently trying to cover up the reasons behind his death by proclaiming it as a rumor. But he shall not be forgotten by those of us who have a conscience.
而家政府當然係話緊呢啲咁嘅佢嘅自殺，佢喺社交平台嘅流言係一個 rumor 啦，係謠言啦。咁亦都係一貫常 CCP 中國嘅手法，就係想刪除呢啲真相，俾我哋追究責任。
I would like to recall the events that happened 5 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow residents of Canada, today I address you not only as citizens of a free and democratic nation, but as members of a global community that values human rights, justice, and the dignity of all individuals. Although the events I speak of occurred thousands of miles away, they are a matter of concern for all who believe in the fundamental principles of freedom and the rule of law. On August 31st, 2019, in the heart of Hong Kong, a tragic and appalling event took place that shook the world. At the Prince Edward MTR station, scenes unfolded that should never occur in a normal society. That evening, armed police officers stormed the station, using excessive force against unarmed protesters and ordinary commuters alike. Batons and pepper spray were wielded without restraint, turning a place of everyday life into a battleground of fear and violence.
大家好，今日我身處係一個自由同民主嘅國家，以公民身份，亦都係以一個重視人權、公義同國際公民同大家講幾句説話。雖然我嚟緊講及嘅事件發生喺好似好遙遠嘅地方，但係呢件事件對所有擁護支持自由同法治基本原則嘅人嚟講關乎重大。2019年8月31號，太子地鐵站發生咗一宗令人震驚嘅悲劇，而呢件事件亦唔係應該係喺一個重視公義同人權社會上面發生嘅。當晚黑警闖入太子站月台同列車，所謂執法以警棍、胡椒噴霧等使用過分武力無差別攻擊市民，令到一個平時我哋生活經過嘅地方變成一個充滿恐懼同暴力嘅戰場。
The actions of the Hong Kong police that night cannot be ignored, excused, or forgotten. That was not law enforcement. It was a brutal display of power, an unjustified attack on the people they were supposed to protect. It was a violation of the very essence of what policing should stand for: safety, order, and the protection of human life. As Canadians, we understand the importance of rights and freedoms. We hold dear the values of democracy, the right to peaceful protest, and the right to live without fear of state violence. The scenes from Prince Edward Station are a stark reminder that these rights are fragile and must be defended, not only within our borders but across the globe.
黑警嗰班嘅行為不能被忽視、辯解、遺忘。佢哋唔係執法，而係顯示濫權最醜陋嘅一面。佢哋嘅核心價值其實應該去保護市民，唔係無理攻擊佢哋。佢哋嘅行為係嚴重侵犯基本人權。作為加拿大人、香港人，我哋理解權利同埋自由嘅重要性，我哋珍惜民主、和平抗議權利，同埋應該係無懼我哋嘅政府，因為喺一個民主自由嘅體制裏邊，人民係大於政府。太子站嘅場景提醒我哋呢啲權利係好脆弱嘅，必須捍衛，唔係淨係我哋喺加拿大國土上，而係全球範圍內都需要重視。
What happened in Hong Kong that night is not just a local issue. It is a human issue. The blatant abuse of power, the denial of medical care to the injured, the subsequent attempts to cover up the truth. All these actions are deeply troubling. They are a signal to the dangerous erosion of trust between the people and those in power. Such actions undermine the foundations of a just society and pose a threat to the freedoms that all human beings deserve. But there is more at stake here than the actions of the Hong Kong police. The events at Prince Edward Station are part of a broader and more disturbing pattern of foreign interference by the Chinese government. Beijing's influence is felt not only in the suppression of dissent in Hong Kong, but also in its attempts to sway public opinion and undermine democratic institutions far beyond its borders. This interference extends to our own shores here in Canada.
香港嗰晚發生嘅事件唔係淨係嗰個地方嘅問題，而係人權問題。權力公義濫用、對傷者醫療嘅拒絕，隨後掩蓋真相，呢啲所有嘅行為都令到我哋非常失望、憂慮。呢啲行為破壞咗公正社會嘅基礎，威脅到所有人應得嘅自由。呢度嘅問題唔係淨係香港黑警嘅行為。太子站發生嘅事件係中共政府對外國干預嘅模式之一。佢哋嘅所作所為唔係淨係對香港異見人士嘅打壓，佢哋係試圖影響同削弱民主機制。呢啲干預已經擴展到加拿大同埋其他國家。
Right here in Canada, there is growing evidence of Chinese foreign interference aimed at influencing our political system, our media, and even our academic institutions. In recent years, Canadian intelligence agencies have reported on efforts by the Chinese government to influence election outcomes, citing examples of targeted disinformation campaigns and covert funding directed at political candidates sympathetic to Beijing's interests. Furthermore, Chinese state-owned media have been known to spread propaganda within Canada, attempting to shape public perception in favor of the Chinese Communist Party. Our universities and research institutions have also been targeted, with concerns about intellectual property theft and efforts to co-opt Canadian researchers for Chinese state-run programs. These actions threaten the very fabric of our democracy, compromising the integrity of our political processes and the security of our nation.
喺加拿大越嚟越多證據顯示，中國已經干預咗我哋嘅政治體系、媒體、學術機構好耐。近年嚟，加拿大情報機構報告提及到中國政府有影響我哋聯邦選舉嘅結果，同中共有密切關係嘅傳媒同埋佢哋嘅團體，亦都喺加拿大做大外宣，散播虛假信息，使用資金同埋其他方法利誘政府候選人為佢哋講好説話，試圖塑造有利於中共嘅公共觀感，讓更多人支持佢哋嘅抗戰。我哋嘅大學、我哋嘅研究機構亦都成為中共滲透同干擾嘅目標。聽到加拿大嘅學者參與中國國家營運嘅項目，盜竊知識產權，呢啲行為威脅到我哋國家嘅安全。
We cannot turn a blind eye. We cannot remain silent when the rights of individuals are trampled underfoot, whether it be in Hong Kong or here in Canada. China's growing influence and interference in our democratic processes threaten the integrity of our institutions and the freedoms we hold dear. Canada has always stood for justice and human rights, and it is our moral duty to speak out against these abuses wherever they occur. By raising our voices, we send a message to the people of Hong Kong. You are not alone. The world is watching, and we stand with you in your fight for justice, for accountability, and for the protection of your freedom.
我哋不能視而不見，我哋不能保持沉默。不論係喺香港定係喺加拿大，中共嘅干預威脅到我哋民主嘅體制。加拿大一向支持公義同埋人權，我哋有道德責任反對呢啲行為。通過發聲，我哋向香港人民傳遞嘅信息係 You're not alone， 你哋並不孤單。世界在關注，我哋永遠企喺你哋嗰邊，支持你哋爭取公義、追求真相、追究責任。
To my fellow Canadians, I urge you to stay informed and engaged. Let us use our voices, our platform, and our influence to support those who are fighting for their freedoms. We must also remain vigilant against foreign interference in our own country, defending our democracy from those who would seek to undermine it. Let us remember that the freedoms we enjoy are the result of continuous vigilance and the courage to stand against injustice. Let us honor those who suffered at the Hong Kong Prince Edward Station by committing ourselves to the cause of human rights, justice, and freedom, not just for ourselves, but for all people everywhere.
對於我哋加拿大嘅朋友，我哋呼籲大家繼續關注同埋積極參與，利用我哋嘅聲音平台同埋影響力嚟支持全部為自由奮鬥嘅人。我哋也必須對外國干預保持警惕，保衛我哋民主體系唔受破壞。公義同人權嘅鬥爭係全球性嘅，我哋必須在世界角落各個角落捍衛呢個原則。我哋記住，我哋享有嘅自由唔係必然，係經過好多人嘅犧牲贏翻嚟。希望大家繼續捍衛人權、公義、自由。我哋無忘太子站發生過嘅一切，我哋要為世界各地嘅人發聲。多謝。
Fellow activists here would like to have a word about a couple events that you would like to bring up.
淨係想分享幾句啦。其實好多人問我哋，點解仲企出嚟？隔咗5年咁耐。咁其實我哋過咗嚟加拿大，即係我自己過咗嚟加拿大，都係想藉住呢度嘅有民主有自由繼續發聲。亦都唔想加拿大慢慢變咗好似大陸或者其他獨裁國家一樣，因為如果加拿大都淪陷，呢個世界應該冇乜地方可以再逃離到，所以大家要珍惜呢個地方。過到嚟呢度，大家都知道有好多人都唔係咁清楚香港同大陸嘅分別， 佢哋可能見到我哋就係 Chinese to Chinese，佢哋唔會明白背後香港同埋大陸嘅價值觀係幾咁唔同。呢度好平安，好似冇乜危機感咁樣，就係正正因為呢度冇乜危機感，所以先至容易被干預、被理解。有啲local 亦都俾大陸嘅大外宣影響到，反而鬧西方國家，話大陸仲好過加拿大，幫中國講好事嘅。每一個國家包括加拿大，以前可能都做過好多唔應該做嘅事情。咁當然佢哋唔明白每一個地方都會有人就會有邪惡啦。但係好在呢個地方有自由民主，所以我哋可以發聲，調查不公義嘅事情，查出真相，追究責任。唔理你係加拿大總理定係一個平民，喺法律面前我哋都係平等。咁大家出嚟嘅意義其實好大。有時見到每一個活動越嚟越少人出現，都好心淡。但係今日仲見到咁多人出現，其實係一個鼓舞。對香港嘅手足，我都有香港嘅朋友都話，見到喺外地有咁多香港人仲出嚟紀念，仲支持我哋，佢哋都好開心。亦都係我哋嘅出嚟係提高本地人對中國滲透嘅意識，其實係好重要。上個禮拜我哋去咗呢個我諗係啲中共related 嘅團體搞嘅草坪音樂會啦，表面上就係話反歧視，支持大家投票，但其實都係做一啲大外宣嘅活動。我哋一出現，列治文市嘅工作人員見到我哋就已經起晒我，唔友善地叫我哋離開個場地。佢哋都未了解我哋其實係表達啲咩信息，就已經趕我哋走，已經 label 我哋係去搞事。佢哋亦都因為咁樣而報咗警，而 RCMP 皇家騎警亦都到場了解事情。但係佢哋睇到我哋嘅標語、我哋嘅紙牌，其實正正就係想加拿大唔好受到外國干預，令到我哋可以繼續有一個公平嘅選舉，維護我哋加拿大嘅價值觀。跟住佢哋了解咗之後，就冇進一步調查我哋，再阻攔我哋。所以其實大家係真係要企出嚟，令到本地人知道香港人、大陸人或者係撐中共嘅人，我哋係有分別嘅，我哋係唔同。我哋想佢哋知道香港發生嘅嘢，亦都喺加拿大個國土上面會發生。最後想講，如果我哋唔出嚟，就冇人質疑上個禮拜個主辦單位點解唔歡迎我哋。我哋唔出嚟，佢哋亦都唔知道香港人同大陸人嘅分別。我哋唔出嚟，每逢呢啲所謂大日子，慢慢就會溝淡，好多人就會唔記得發生咩事。唔好講下一代，我哋呢一代可能都慢慢記憶沖淡。中共政府而家就係努力刪改歷史，我哋冇人反對，冇人 challenge 佢哋嘅歷史就變咗真實嘅歷史。冇咁多人出嚟，就唔會有救生艇計劃，唔會有標 C-70。呢啲所有嘅一切唔係理所當然，係每個人出力爭取。我哋會繼續發聲，希望大家都係一樣。多謝大家。
For those of you who are unaware, there are currently 47 pro-democratic legislators who were legally elected back in 2019. They're currently being prosecuted by the Hong Kong government simply for participating in the primary election. Unfortunately, despite our efforts, the election system has been deeply compromised by the Chinese Communist Party in Hong Kong. Hence why I always remind everyone here that you should never take for granted the rights you currently have in Canada. And as a reminder, don't forget to vote in the upcoming provincial election on October 19th. Every single vote here matters. Our group, PHK, has done research on which candidates are pro-CCP and which ones are not, so you can make an informed decision prior to voting day. The information is posted and available anytime on our Instagram and Facebook accounts. Make sure you're registered for voting, know your polling station, and have a clear picture of the candidates' backgrounds and affiliations. Let's ensure British Columbia's future is no longer manipulated by pro-CCP politicians.
10月19號係省選，大家都知道投票係我哋公民最大嘅 power。希望大家就算係冇票，都 make sure 我哋係好inform究竟嗰啲候選人個 background 係點樣，從而同大家溝通啊，你身邊嘅朋友溝通啊，令到佢哋會作出一個好嘅選擇啦。我哋溫哥華手足個 IG 你哋都會睇到，我哋都有起下啲候選人嘅特嘅。我哋有個 study group 係做 research 嘅，咁就研究嗰啲候選人背後或者佢哋嘅行為啦，有冇出席到中共嘅大外宣活動啊？有冇即係利益嗰方面嘅問題啊？咁大家都可以花啲時間睇下我哋 IG 嘅 post。我哋 so far 應該 post 咗3個候選人左右啦。就算有啲候選人可能今年唔係出嚟選嘅，但係其實佢哋參與好多唔同嘅活動，有好多活動，有好多好機構，其實係我哋本省或者係聯邦資助佢哋嘅，其實係好諷刺嘅呢樣嘢。咁所以大家多多關注同埋encourage 鼓勵身邊嘅朋友要認識政治嘅問題。
So on a different note, VHK has been trying to raise awareness of the fact that one recent Hong Kong immigrant has unknowingly had their information passed to the Guangzhou branch of Success by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. We have reached out to Success to clarify on how they handle Hong Kongers' data that was sent to them from the RCC, but have not received a clear response. We have hence prepared some printed letters that can be sent to the IRCC, the IRCC Minister, Mark Miller, and Success Headquarters. Please take a moment after the rally to sign these letters so we can pressure all parties to take action to resolve such a serious breach of confidentiality.
有一位手足message 我哋話佢啲私人資料被送中，咁其實係點樣咧？個故事係因為佢係過嚟呢度啦，咁呢個 IRCC 加拿大移民難民公民部，佢就會提供有啲到目前嘅服務嘅。咁即係你 say 咗 yes 之後咧，其實佢預先都唔知道邊啲機構會幫助佢啦。咁點知中條廣州部分行啊，可以話個 branch 就 contact 佢嗰陣時，佢應該仲喺香港，係啦，咁就係幫助佢提供呢啲移民前或者到埗前嘅服務。咁其實呢樣嘢咧係好恐怖嘅，因為其實我哋亦都唔知道中條互助會佢哋對唔係話佢哋做過啲咩嘢，或者明知道啲資料係會被送中嘅，就係諗唔 protect 佢，唔係咁嘅意思。我哋只係冇一個確定，佢哋未確定回覆到佢哋點樣保障香港人嘅私人資料。咁我哋之前都 send 個 email send 個 email 俾佢哋，咁佢哋亦都冇好仔細地嚟去同我哋解釋。咁當然發生呢件事之後，呢位手足俾中條廣州部contact 咗之後，我哋就懷疑啲資料其實安唔安全嘅，係咪已經被送中？咁我哋亦都有啲想大家有時間嘅，我哋已經 print 咗好多 letter template，希望大家可以有時間簽個名，跟住我哋可以寄去 IRCC 移民難民公民部，俾嗰個部長 Mark Miller 嘅，謝謝大家。
So I would also like to bring up that a Hong Konger group, Wallaceo, has generously brought some candles for our event today. Sarangong, Hong Kong, has set up a booth here on behalf of them where you can donate to get these candles and pack support. All proceeds will be donated to the Bonham Tree Aid to aid our fellow activists currently imprisoned in Hong Kong.
係感謝黃利燒捐出啲蠟燭，好靚嘅蠟燭咁啦。我哋將於係今日啦，係啦，賣出呢啲蠟燭係一箱有四個蠟燭嘅，自由定價。 任你哋俾幾多錢，全部嘅錢係會捐助細葉人嘅 Bonham Tree Aid， 係支持在囚手足，希望大家踴躍支持。
And as you look around you, Vancouver activists in Hong Kong have set up exhibition boards and artwork that showcase the good story of Hong Kong. Most of you who are from Hong Kong would be very well acquainted with the details. So I encourage you to share your personal experiences with any local residents who are viewing the exhibition with you. It is important that you share your voice to connect with like-minded Canadians so that our story will not be overwritten by the CCP and forgotten by future generations.
喺我哋嘅右邊，你哋都見到我哋有啲展板啊，有個展覽啊，係説好香港故事啊，諷刺佢哋。大家其實都知道發生咩事㗎啦，但係我哋都好鼓勵大家，你見到有好多途人經過咧，盡量留喺附近，見到佢哋好奇咧，就同佢講解香港嘅事情。因為頭先都講過，好多 local 嘅人，好多本地人都唔知香港發生咩事，同埋佢哋係冇乜危機感嚇中共嘅滲透。所以係咯，希望多謝大家今日嘅嚟臨啦，繼續傳遞呢個信息俾大家，同埋去參與我哋嘅義賣活動啊，同埋寫呢個 IRCC 嘅信俾部長。多謝大家。Fight for freedom! Fight for freedom! 光復香港！光復香港！香港獨立！香港獨立！
As our event is coming to a close, we would like everyone to once again join together in the singing of Glory to Hong Kong.
我哋會唱多一次我哋屬於香港人嘅國歌，願榮光歸香港。希望大家對住我哋嘅光時。
咁大家如果真係可以出一分力嘅，就麻煩。